Fleetway Market. Fuel up at Fleetway Market, 20 locations, over 20 locations in the state of Mississippi. One right around the corner from us in Madison and right around the corner in Gluckstadt. Gluckstadt has the Market Cafe, delicious food, including the pulled pork sandwich, which is absolutely delicious at Fleetway Market and the Market Cafe. Over 20 locations in the state of Mississippi. We're live in the Bank Plus studio. You're listening to 105.9 The Zone, ESPN. We welcome in our friend Dave Bartoo. He is somewhere in the Oregon Ducks football building. Not happy with what's going on there. But Bartoo, good morning. How are you, sunshine?
Dude, it is the first week of college football season. I am doing absolutely fantastic, buddy.
All right. Dan Lanning was the defensive coordinator at Georgia. He's now the head coach for your alma mater, the Oregon Ducks, because Cristobal goes to Miami. How would you grade what Dan Lanning has done as far as putting together a staff for your Oregon Ducks to date?
There's two things to grade, okay? When you're grading a staff, at least the way we do it, we grade a staff by how well they've recruited in the past and how well they have coached in the past, because both are important, right? You can't really overlook one for the other. I think we'd all lean a little bit more recruiting than coaching, but, you know, there's a balance. And with Oregon, there is an imbalance. This is an excellent recruiting staff, okay? They have brought in guys that have reeled in 4- and 5-star guys from every point in the country, okay? So from a recruiting standpoint, it's all-star staff. From a coaching standpoint, it looks like Georgia Southern experience, okay, because they have brought in a bunch of guys that really their history is not of coaching. It is recruiting. They're not that good of coaches, but where it really counts, defensive coordinator, offensive coordinator, they are super limited in experience. And not only are they limited experience, they have zero experience working with each other's pace of play. And what I mean by that is Dillingham is going to have a high-octane offense. It's going to be go, 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 go. Everybody on the other side of the defense that are going to pair with that, because he's going to force that defense to face a lot of plays because of his pace of play. They're not used to that at all. So this is a massive hydrogen experiment. It is going to be glorious one way or the other, okay? But the problem with the glorious side is we don't know if it'll be good glorious, like a beautiful fireworks show, or bad glorious, fireworks blowing up in the warehouse.
All right. So let's move on to DJ Durkin leaving Ole Miss and going to A&M. What kind of hire is that for Jimbo Fisher, Bartoo?
Solid. You know, this is a 3.5, 4-star defensive coordinator, but it's still a downgrade from Mike Elko. You know, Jimbo had, you know, he had a really nice luxury there. I mean, that was a top 5 defensive coordinator in college football. In fact, your top 4 scoring efficient defensive coordinators were all hired to be head coaches. You know, we know it's a copycat league. Sports are copycat, so everybody decided to hire the top defensive coordinators this year. So A&M lost theirs to, where'd he go?
Duke? Head coach.
Duke. And so they were, you know, they're replacing him with DJ. Now, DJ, when he came into Mississippi, we had him right there, low 4-star defensive coordinator. He'd done a lot of good things on the field for his career, and it's a solid hire, okay? It's a solid hire, but got to understand is for A&M, because where A&M recruits, you need somebody elite somewhere, and they don't have that. Jimbo is not an elite play caller. He's a 3.5-star kind of guy. So Durkin is a better game coach than he is, but combined it falls short of where I'd like them to be to compete for a national title. While DJ is solid, was there another 5 to 10 guys available? Or, well, when you're A&M, everybody's available, right? I mean,
Right.
That's the way you got to approach it. Everybody
Sure.
is available. Money is not an object. I think there was a lot of room for improvement there, even though the hire is solid.
Okay. If Kirby Smart promotes Will Muschamp to defensive coordinator, what does Dave Bartoo and the Matrix and all that think about that?
He's not head coaching, right? Will doesn't get any head coaching because we know that's going to end in a disaster. I mean, he is 2 for 2 on disaster movie endings wherever he's been a head coach. So, as defensive coordinator, who are you going to get, right? Which Will Muschamp? Because we all know Will's put up some darn good years, right? I mean, he has put up some really good defensive years. Kirby has his hands all over the defense anyways. And we don't even know who really is fully calling all the plays. So low bar of potential in a guy. Will has a high ceiling. He's had good defenses. He knows how to put that together. The only real question I ever have in these situations is Will wants to do one thing. The number one thing on his list is to be a head coach again. And I know for everybody listening, you just spit your coffee through your nose and it sounds funny, right? But these guys always want a head coach for the most part. It's rare that you get a guy that tastes it and goes, that's not for me. I don't want to be a head coach no more. A lot
like
of
Joe
my
Moorhead taking the Akron job, for goodness sakes.
Right. I mean, I want to be a head coach. That is a great example. It got him closer to home and his family. I think health had been in question for him. But, I mean, Akron, that was the worst job on the board. I mean, the worst job on the board. I had 2 head coaches, former head coaches. Now, the reason I feel I know a lot about the head coach emotion is that's one of my jobs. I help head coaches, good ones, that aren't head coaches right now. We use the analytics to help promote their resume. We help them separate themselves in an interview. We help them bring in a 3 deep of staff that is really good to the resume. And we use numbers to tell a story that separates a guy. And so time and time again, I work with former head coaches that come to me because why? Dave, I want to be a head coach again. I need an edge. They will do anything to try to get that head coaching job, except Akron. But 2 guys are like, yeah, I'd rather stay coordinator. I'm not taking that job. There's, like I am making more money as a coordinator than they will give me for my staff pool. and the AD doesn't even like football. I'm not going to Akron.
Wow. Okay. Dave Bartoo on the Bucked Up Energy guest line and the Out of Bounds show, 105.9 The Zone ESPN. There's a lot of buzz around Jeff Lebby right now. He went to Oklahoma. Ole Miss fans are kind of in limbo. I think Lebby did the heavy lifting on the recruiting trail for the Lane train.
Yeah.
And you and I both know that it's Lane's offense. Now, Lebby could have done still a great job in a support role. We just listened to Matt Corral's some audio of him being on a podcast, and he said, look, man, Lebby took me through something that he called flight school, where we did all this stuff in the film room, and he said, Lane wasn't there. So I think Lane likes to do practice and games, and obviously he's a hell of a play caller. But for you, the jury is still out on really what Jeff Lebby is on a true – because he's going to get the – Venables is giving him the keys to the Lambo, right? Mm-hmm. And so now isn't your mindset now we get to see exactly what Jeff Lebby is or isn't going forward, Bartoo?
I would agree. I would say you can't grade him, right? This is where everybody's going to grade the hire, and it's like, how do you grade the hire when you don't even know if this guy's called a play before? Okay, he may be a brilliant at recruiting. He may be brilliant at coaching and coaching these guys up from a quarterback coach standpoint. But we don't, when the rounds get live, we don't know exactly who he is, because if he has called plays, when, where, I don't have the numbers. So to me, when it comes down to grading Jeff Lebby, it's 0. It's wait and see. So Oklahoma fan getting out over their skis that, oh, our offense is going to be just as good and just as awesome. Let's pull the reins in, get this horse down to a nice, slow walk down the trail, okay? We're going to set the bar of expectations really low, and if he exceeds them, cool. Okay, let's get excited if the offense comes around in the next 2 or 3 years, as you would expect. But I think with a Jeff Levy, you just can't grade the guy because we don't know exactly what he's going to be able to do. Venables is just taking the risk that this guy's experience and all of his relationships is going to rub off to give Oklahoma a top 20 offense.
Dave Bartoo on the Out of Bounds show. All right, Dave, if now that Durkin is gone, Kiffin hasn't made a hire, he may go get a sitting DC with a lot of experience play calling, but there's someone on the staff, Chris Partridge, who has never – he was the co-DC under Durkin, but he's never called, you know, like you said, when the live bullets are flying. So he's never called plays.
Yeah.
Where are you on that if Kiffin promotes this Partridge guy?
Man, emotionally, you know, I'm always I get a little twitchy when people start saying next man up, because I saw it work so good here in Oregon, and I saw it work so bad here in Oregon. It scares me because I always find it hard to believe that the best guy available is the next guy in line. You know, because Durkin was good DC, real good. We just talked about it. You know, so you're telling me that out of all the DCs and all the potential guys out there, the very next guy for the best guy for Ole Miss was right behind him. Wow, right? I mean, that's pretty impressive coach recruiting and building a staff to begin with. So, while he may turn out to be great, might be better than DJ, right? You know, the mind might be there and everything might be sharp. And we've seen it out of the gate. We've seen Joe Brady's show up and do great things. So again, this is just like Levy. You can't be excited about that hire. You can't be down on it. You know, I mean, unless you conclusively knew that, there was a guy available. It's like, oh, you know, Venables. We could have got Venables. But instead we went next man up. I mean, unless you could have got a guy that is a rock star. You can't get too down on it, but you really, again, can't get over the skis on being excited about a guy with zero experience coming in for the first year.
What about Sark at Texas and the fact that they I mean, I don't think we were expecting to go 11-1, but I mean, they had a rough year. Where are you with the Sark? And it's early, but where are you with the Sark Texas experiment?
Oh, man, yeah. I mean, we weren't expecting 11-1, but we weren't expecting that steaming pile either, were we? I mean, good Lord. I mean, come on, let's make our draft board of like 3 worst coaching performances of 2021, and that's one of them. You know, you can make an argument that was the worst one. You know, because, I mean, this is a program. He took over top 15 offense from 2020. He took over a top 40 defense from 2020. He's in the Big 12, dude. I mean, Big 12. Oklahoma State won that conference with the 63rd ranked scoring efficiency offense.
Good.
It wasn't
grief.
like it wasn't there for taking, right? Now, I'm belittling Oklahoma's awesome defense in saying that. Okay, so let's call it the way it is. They got lucky a few times, and their defense was elite, but their offense was not good. It was average at best. And Texas, they're recruiting. I mean, he was handed a top 10 recruiter. This is a program that over the last 4 years was a top 10 recruiter in college football, top 15 offense, top 40 defense. And what did he do?
Blake, was it 4-8? We're checking. Will the Thrill? Check on that, please.
I know what the coach effect was.
What was it?
And we all know that in your first year,
5-7.
I call anybody more than -4. We know that's dead man walking, right? Because those guys get fired. Almost 90% of the time they get fired. if you start your career, not a career, but you start as a new head coach at a place, -4 coach effect or worse the first year, over 90% of the guys are fired by year 4. Sark was -6. He was the worst in the country.
That's incredible.
It was an abomination what happened to that team this year. So
in a weak conference where they're the
Yep.
number 1 recruiter, correct, Bartoo?
Number 1, number 2, right there with Oklahoma.
Okay.
Right? I mean, right
Boy,
in there. You know,
I like him, but that is hard to do. 5-7, number 1 recruiter in a weak conference with not many top 20, top 25, or even top 30 recruiters in that conference. Right, Bartoo?
It is the equivalent of Michigan or Ohio State going 5-7. It is the equivalent of Oregon going 5-7. It is the equivalent of Miami and Clemson, maybe Miami. You know, I mean, they don't even recruit at that level going 5-7. It was, and look what was inherited. I mean, that team was good. In 2020, I mean, it was like a field goal or 2 away from like 11-1 or 10-1 or whatever the heck COVID record they could have had. But wow, you know, I kept waiting for it to turn. I'm like, oh no, give it some time. And the offense was good. Look, it was a top 15 offense. They scored a gazillion points. Defense was bottom 20 in the country, which shocked the hell out of me because Pete Kwiatkowski was running it, and that guy's never had anything less than a really good defense. So I think with Texas...
All right, talk about how crazy that is. I mean, you had him as what? Maybe not an A+, but A defensive coordinator? I mean, one of the top defensive coordinators in the country?
Level. Right, Elko level, you know.
So put that in
level.
perspective for our listeners, how bad Texas was on defense, considering they hired a defensive coordinator with an excellent track record. Bartoo.
I can't even quantify it. I literally am speechless. I mean, I wouldn't if no. I mean, this is one of those situations where if you know you're like, here, you got $100 to bet on Pete Kwiatkowski at Texas, and all he has to do is have a top 75 defense, and you double your money. Dude, I'd have made that bet. You know, I'd have asked how high the limit is, literally, because there is no way inside the numbers. And this is one of the beautiful things about college football, trying to project what the hell's going to happen, right? There is no way I would have even guessed. It would have even crossed my mind that he'd have had a bottom half defensive scoring efficiency, let alone bottom 25. I mean, it was flat bad. So. Do I expect it to stay that way? No, I don't. You know, this might be one of those situations where everybody's selling their stock because of the bad performance, and I'm looking at the entire key of what Kwiatkowski has done as a defensive coordinator. So I think it'll get turned around. But there is I'm just in shock just talking about it right now, man. I mean, I just can't even believe it. It was that bad. But then again, you know, cheers. That's Texas.
Yeah. All right, Dan.
I mean, man, could you imagine behind the curtain at that place? That place must be a booster zoo nightmare.
It has to be, Bartoo. Just you look at my whole life. You look at the last 50 years. Mac Brown bottled it for 5 minutes from about 03 to 06. And other than that, man, they just haven't gotten it done, Bartoo. I mean, it's just
no.
Yeah.
It's fun because we can pick on them because it's not us. It's funny because it's not us.
No, you're right. You're right. I mean, the last decade, Mississippi State and Ole Miss have had more success than the Texas Longhorns. All right, and you know what they have to fight every year. Let's talk Dan Mullen. It's going to be interesting. Yeah. I get the sense that Mullen's going to sit out and kind of reboot, and I think he'll get head coaching job offers, but he could get some OC job offers. Could you see that in the future?
Oh yeah. I absolutely. I've been trying to track him down. You know, I've been in the back, back channels doing coaching searches for coaches. And, I'd love to know what's on his mind. It certainly seems from social media, it's just family and having fun and relaxing. You know, I mean, this is the first time he's had a December, January off in 20 years.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's been forever. And it's not like the guy isn't independently wealthy at this point. He don't need to go back to it. God, wouldn't it be great if he just walked away forever? That'd be cool. I mean, kudos to him, because that's kind of the dream, right? Retire early,
sure,
don't work no more. Oh yeah, but would he be a massive splash hire for somebody? You want to talk about a guy that, let's say you brought him in as offensive coordinator for a couple of years. Could you imagine the emotional splash if you bring Dan Mullen out as your quarterback coach, offensive coordinator, even if it's for a season? What does that do for the emotion of the players and the fans and the boosters? Oh man, there's plenty of programs that would probably kill for that.
Like Bama. I mean, let's say Bill O'Brien takes a job, which is amazing to me that he's, in contention for NFL head coaching jobs. But anyway, let's say that happens.
Mm-hmm.
And you drop Dan Mullen. I've only got about a minute and a half, 2 minutes. You drop Dan Mullen at Bama as the OC. What does it mean? Where does it go?
That would be fantastic. Because look, Bill O'Brien coming into Alabama, he's a 2.5-star offensive coordinator. Okay, I mean he's poverty offensive coordinator. All right, not good at all. And in fact, the only time Nick Saban has hired a offensive coordinator that is 3-star or less in our system, Loxley and O'Brien hasn't been able to win it. So Mullen, you're looking at a 3.5-star offensive coordinator. He would be a massive, massive, massive upgrade to O'Brien. And as long as he was calling the plays, I don't see Bama losing a national title. And that would be fun for him too. Could you imagine going through everything, all the pressures, and then you get to kind of relax. I don't think you can relax around Saban 100%, but you get to have fun and go out and win a national title like you did at Florida.
And Coach Bryce Young, man. Woo. That would be and he'd only be 90 miles away from Stark Vegas, Mississippi, where it all started for him somewhat. All right, Bartoo, great stuff, man. Hope you're doing well. Things are going well with FIU?
Oh, the FIU search, that's one of them that has been just absolutely rock star. I was stoked beyond belief to get Yost to sign as the OC there. We got a couple more surprises coming down the pike. That is going to be a hell of a staff for Conference USA here in a bit.
Have a good day, dude. See you, buddy. Thanks.
Easy, brother.
Dave Bartoo at CFB Matrix on Twitter. Dave joined us on the Corona Premier guest line. Corona Premier guest line. The Out of Bounds Show is brought to you by Fondren Fitness. Oh, what a workout facility and gym. Fondren Fitness in Fondren. The Out of Bounds Show is powered by Fondren Fitness. You're looking to set your workout goals, get healthy, do what you need to do. Well, you want to start with Fondren Fitness in Fondren. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful facility there that they have in Fondren. Fondren Fitness, check it out. We'll be back tomorrow for Football Friday. See ya.